Bandits have attacked the Zone 5 segment of the Kubwa Extension 2 relocation estate along Arab Road in the Federal Capital Territory on Sunday night, kidnapping a woman and her 3 children, including a 6-month-old baby. The gunmen struck between 8 p.m. and 9 p.m. on Sunday, shooting indiscriminately and causing pandemonium in the area. Speaking, a resident said kidnapping has become a usual occurrence in the area every December. And now, in a related development, 7 students of the Federal University of Lafia in Nasarawa State who were abducted 4 days ago have been released. The students were released on Sunday evening through efforts by a collaborative team of the military and other security forces. The president of the Student Representative Council, Ibrahim Ogabo, verified the development. The group of students, consisting of 3 females and 4 males, were at the school's clinic as at the time of filing this report. The abduction occurred on Wednesday night when the students were taken from their off-campus accommodation in Gandu village, leading to immediate protest by their fellow students. In the meantime, the police command in Katsina State says it has foiled a kidnap attempt along Dutse-Kankara Highway, killing 3 suspects in the process. ASP Abubakar Sadiq Aliyu, the command spokesman, confirmed this in Katsina. According to him, based on credible information that some suspected armed robbers and kidnappers wielding dangerous weapons such as AK-47 rifles blocked the Dutse-Kankara Highway in an attempt to kidnap unsuspecting members of the public. The command promptly mobilized a joint team of police operatives and members of the vigilante and responded to the scene. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has arrived in Maiduguri, the capital of Borno State, for Chief of Army Staff Annual Conference. He was received by Governor Babagana Zulum, former Governor Alimudu Sharif, Minister of Defense Mohammed Badru Abubakar, Senator Ali Ndume, among other dignitaries. The President is also expected to launch 100 buses, including 50 electric vehicles, procured by Borno State government to cushion the effect of the removal of fuel subsidy on citizens. President Tinubu will do this shortly after paying homage to the Shehu of Borno, Alhaji Abubakar Ibn Umar Garbai. Now, the Lagos State Traffic Management Authority, LASMA, has terminated the appointments of 5 of its officials for corruption and other offences. In a statement on Monday by LASMA spokesman Adebayo Taufik, the Traffic Management Authority said letters of termination of appointments were released to the offices on December 8, 2023. Taufik said the recommendation to terminate the appointments of the officers was ratified by the Lagos State Civil Service Commission. He also said 7 other officers were reprimanded for other infractions, while other cases against remaining 14 indicted officials were undergoing additional administrative review. Now, the ongoing political drama in Rivers State has taken a very interesting turn as 27 members of the Rivers State House of Assembly have defected from the People's Democratic Party (PDP) to the All Progressives Congress (APC). A member of the Assembly, Enemy George, confirmed that the 27 lawmakers were under the leadership of Martin Amehule. He said the decision was taken during their sitting on Monday morning. In the meantime, the immediate past governor of Sokoto State, Senator Aminu Tambuwal, has approved the appointment of 64 aides across the local governments in his constituency. Tambuwal, who is the chairman, Senate Committee on Housing and Urban Development, announced the appointment of constituency and local government aides for the Sokoto South Senatorial District in a press statement made available to journalists on Monday by his media aide Mohammed Bello. The newly appointed aide consists of some of his former commissioners and special advisors while serving as the governor of the state. In the meantime, the Transmission Company of Nigeria, TCN, says its Gwagwalada Kukwaba Apo 132 kV transmission line 1 has been vandalized between Tower 23 and Tower 25. In a statement, a spokesman for TCN, Ndidi Mba, said the vandalization of the line is suspected to have taken place about 1 a.m. on Sunday when broken power supply on the line was cut off, necessitating an early morning investigation by TCN linesmen. The vandals had also carted away conductors, causing power outage at Kukwaba transmission substation. Mba said TCN has restored bulk power supply to Kukwaba substation as temporary solution through Apo substation. Now, as the world continues to commemorate the 2023 Disability Day, persons with disability, PWDs, are decrying the hardship they are facing as a result of the current economic challenges bedeviling the country. The PWDs, who disclosed this during this year's commemoration organized by Get Them Young Initiative in Jos, said although a significant percentage of Nigerians are affected by the situation, they are more affected by the economic reality. Ado Musa completes the report.
Events commemorating the International Day of Persons with Disabilities are often organized to mobilize support for critical issues relating to the inclusion of persons with disabilities. The day is also aimed at promoting awareness raising about disability issues and draws attention to the benefit of an inclusive and acceptable society for all. But persons with disabilities say, despite the commemoration, they are yet to see the impact of the day.
I'm seriously, I'm calling for the government, especially the federal government of Nigeria, to come to our aid, especially, people living with disability like this, we don't find it easy. So we are pleading for the government to come, in helping people with situation like this.
Expenses which ordinarily they wouldn't have experienced, and I must confess to you that we are not indeed having it easy. Just like
a person with disability in a country like Nigeria is a one step backward, and then secondly, the problem has deteriorated since from the COVID-19 lockdown. There was an issue without considering persons with disability. Then from the lockdown we enter cash crunch, then now fuel subsidy removal. So the thing is become multiple on us.
The executive director of the initiative, Nafisat Abdulaziz, spoke on the group's effort to ensure the well-being of PWDs.
A substantial amount of persons with disability are part of our communities, and then most of them are neglected. They are being segregated from the communities. And why do we do that? They also have the rights, the equal rights we have. So I'm calling on everyone to be disability advocate, and also equally calling on the government, to make sure most of these policies that are in place are being implemented in our places of work, in our business places, and everywhere in the society.
For years, various groups and individuals have advocated for the inclusion of persons with disabilities in government policies. Ado Musa, Trust TV News, Jos.
This is news update on Trust TV. Coming up ahead. POS operators source cash from petty business amidst growing naira scarcity. Details of that and more after the break. Please stay with us.
This is Africa Update on Trust TV. I am Ayuba. Thanks for joining.
Rest of Africa, stand and make sure that our people understand.
And the story of the OAU can be told and retold. It cannot be denied that it made a contribution to the process of decolonization of the continent in many ways.
Ethiopia is where it is today in no small part because of the tireless efforts of the African Union and the wisdom of its deeply held belief in the principle of African solution to African problems.
The bulk of African countries were under colonial rule in 1945. So they did not take part in the negotiations that established the Bretton Woods institutions.
But the African continent is not included in the South-South relations. And therefore, our objective is to ensure that the Africa Free Trade Agreement is actually implemented. And the BRICS countries, all of them are trading with Africa.
And we know that there are resources in Sudan, especially in Darfur. And that is why Darfur has been on the front burner for a long time.
So Cameroonians are anxious, Cameroonians are impatient, Cameroonians are like, oh, many of the guys are not talking today. You can read it all over the social media.
Egypt has officially declined to accept fleeing Palestinians for fear that the more Palestinians you accept across the border into Egypt, the more trouble there may be for the country in the nearest and farthest future.
Are you interested in the latest news and developments in Nigerian politics, policy, governance and other critical national issues? Look no further than Daily Politics on Trust TV. Our panel of experts and key people in government provide in-depth analysis and commentary on the biggest stories in Nigerian politics.
And 33.3 million Nigerians are suffering from multidimensional poverty.
It's a much calmer Buhari than the Buhari who was in the khaki uniform.
Naira to Naira X rate is higher anywhere in the world. The Naira is higher than the exchange rate. So you want to change central bank governor you're doing, you must do it fast.
Number of casualties we have had, we shouldn't have had. Security as far as Nigeria is concerned, we have wronged.
From the inner workings of government to the latest on legislation, rule of law, implementation and democracy, we have you covered. Don't miss out on the latest political news and discussion. Tune in to Daily Politics, weekdays on Trust TV, your source for reliable and unbiased coverage of Nigerian politics.
What NAFDAC is doing is making sure we are safeguarding the health of the nation.
80 million people have been accounted for that have glaucoma worldwide.
The Nutrition Society of Nigeria is laying emphasis on exclusive breastfeeding of our babies.
Incidence of kidney disease in children has also been rising, with an estimated 1 in 10 Nigerian children affected.
And that sometimes those products contain things that could harm you more than you would expect. So you would have long-term damage which could affect your health over time.
Intermittent fasting indeed is beneficial.
We started manufacturing leather since 1958. But the most important thing is that if the system is checked correctly, we won't have where we are now.
If somebody has depression, they may just be very irritable and unproductive in the office. So you find on average already about 1 in 4, 1 in 5 Nigerians already have mental illness, a mental health condition that needs some form of attention.
No matter how good an economy is,
If the federal government goes bust, believe me, everything in the economy is just a matter of time it will go bust. So first of all, about maybe slightly above, below 70% is in federal government securities.
If government has banned importation of fertilizer and states are doing it at the level of governance, but I believe that production and distribution of fertilizer should be left to the private sector.
This is the general multi-purpose card, and it has a chip here. So this chip is about 80 kilobytes. The one that you get from the bank for ATM is just 4 kilobytes. So this is like 20 times.
Welcome back. If you are just joining us, this is the news update on Trust TV, and here is a recap of some of our top stories. Bandits abduct woman, 3 children in Abuja, and kidnapped Nasarawa students regain freedom. Now to other stories. The Lagos State government has served contravention notice to property owners along the corridor of Shoreline Estate, Onikoyi Estate, Park View and Banana Island, whose properties fall within channel setbacks. The government issued a 7-day ultimatum to house owners along the corridor of the state to remove their fences encroaching on drainage channels. Commissioner for Environment and Water Resources, Tokumbo Wahab, stated this over the weekend while addressing newsmen after an inspection of some areas in Ikoyi, including the State House, Dodan Barracks. He said most structures in the areas did not observe the standard 3 meters required by law for the setbacks of secondary collector drains. In the meantime, amidst growing concern over scarcity of Naira notes in the country, a POS operator is sourcing the cash from the process of his small business. Yahuza Garba, who runs a petty business at Kefi Park in Abuja, helps Nigerians to access Naira notes in the wake of cash scarcity in the country. Ibrahim Ismail reports.
POS service providers are not immune to Naira scarcity when it strikes. But the 23-year-old Yahuza Garba is strategic in his operations. He runs a petty business at this motor park while channeling the proceeds to fund the POS services.
So now that business now ain't gonna help me see money, because if I go bank now small money I will see, but because I say something normally now 500, but now you know goes to 500. Each day now 40 you go with the road. It be my 40, no be always. If you go today, see money, tomorrow you no go see them. Or you go today, you go see line too much.
Garba's strategy of sourcing Naira notes for the POS business gained popularity, and his tactics support transport workers to access the cash easily.
So far that I'm operating in this garage here, this POS guy have been helping us. It makes us not to run out of cash. Anytime that we came here, we normally get what we want. And it's always make sure that he make cash available for us. And it's not all that charging us, it's charging us well.
Although the old and redesigned Naira notes remain legal tenders according to the Central Bank of Nigeria, CBN, Nigerians are finding it difficult to access cash. But POS operators like Yahuza believe there is always a way out. Ibrahim Ismail, Trust TV News, Abuja.
Now, the Minister of Finance and Coordinating Minister of the Economy, Wale Edun, said as the federal government strives to increase revenue, 1% of nation's gross domestic product (GDP) has been given out as tax waivers and incentives. He made the remark at the resumed interactive session organized by the House of Representatives Committee on Appropriations on Monday. The minister was responding to a question by members of the committee on tax waivers, while the government intends to increase taxes to fund the 2024 budget. According to him, due to various leakages and waivers, Nigeria revenue utilization in budget funding is still low at 10%, while other African countries have 25%. Edun said it clearly shows that Nigeria has less revenue to fund its budget, which makes it to be in a tight fiscal space, hence the result to borrowing. The minister added that the multiplicity of taxes is being compressed, and 90% of revenue collected and remitted to government coffers are from 9 sources, while the others are almost completely lost through various leakages. And on the foreign scene, the United Nations General Assembly will meet on Tuesday to discuss the humanitarian crisis in Gaza. UN officials said a special meeting of the General Assembly has been called for Tuesday afternoon by the representatives for Egypt and Mauritania in their respective capacities as chair of the Arab Group and chair of the Organization for Islamic Cooperation. According to Diplomatic, the General Assembly, whose resolutions are non-binding, could vote on a text for a ceasefire resolution at the meeting. And now finally on sports news, the management of Sunshine Stars Football Club has said that the ball boy who was shot during the attack on their team's bus by suspected hoodlums is in stable condition. Team official Edith Agoye disclosed this in his post-match reactions after Sunshine Stars suffered a narrow defeat to Bendel Insurance on March day 13th of the Nigeria Premier Football League. The Sunshine Stars gaffer held the Edo State Governor Godwin Obaseki and his deputy Philip Shaibu for coming to the aid of the team by offsetting the medical bills of the injured officials. Agoye says they were determined to get something from the game, with Insurance FC as consolation for their terrible experience, but insurance proved difficult. Still on sports news, Nigeria Customs have been grouped alongside Sporting Alexandra, CNSS Kenya Ports Authority, KPA, and University di Douala in group of the inaugural edition of the FIBA Africa Women's Basketball League, AWBL. The newly launched AWBL will run between December 11 to 19 in the Egyptian coastal city of Alexandria. Customs finished top of the 3-team regional qualifier, finishing with a perfect 2-0, while ASPAC finished in second place with a 1-1 mark. Nigeria Customs and ASPAC of Benin Republic emerged the 2 qualified sides to the final round of the inaugural edition of AWBL. The Border Girls, as the Nigeria Customs team are known, will be led by coach Abdurrahman Mohammed alongside Captain Inkem Akrawi, who emerged the most valuable player at the qualifiers. And now on a sad note, a veteran broadcaster with the Nigerian Television Authority, NTA, Aisha Bello, is dead. Bello, who spent 35 years at the NTA until her retirement in 2022, reportedly died on Monday. In a statement by a presidential spokesman, Ajuri Ingilale, President Bola Tinubu expressed grief over Bello's demise, saying her legacy in broadcast journalism lives on. The statement said during her time as the presenter of the flagship NTN network News at 9, Nigerians and viewers around the world looked forward to seeing her smile, warmth and wisdom as she delivered news. It added that she mentored many young women who look for broadcasting, mainly by watching and listening to her eloquence, passion and integrity on the screen, in the newsroom and off the screen. According to the statement, she brought news to life and will continue to be a beacon of inspiration for generations in the beautiful art of broadcasting. President Tinubu prayed God to grant the soul of the departed eternal rest and comfort for those who mourn. And with that, we have come to the end of the Trust TV News Update. Do not forget to follow us across all our media platforms and our YouTube live stream for more news, programs, and documentary. I am Abdurrahman Umar. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.